Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Joffrey Noodle Legs here today. I hope you're all doing well and I hope you've all had a wonderful Christmas. So I'm back at it again doing my movie reviews. Today I'm looking at a 1978 video nasty, and that is the Toolbox murders. This is an infamous sort of video nasty. It did get a remake, and to be honest, the remake's not too bad, but this is the original. This is the 88 slasher collection version, number 30 in the collection. This comes with a nice little slipcase and comes with like a one-page sort of booklet sort of thing. It's not really a booklet, it's a leaflet more like, with like a little interview and a Blu-ray disc. So a little synopsis of the film. The film starts off strange with a sort of really strange sort of like little car crash. So yeah, when I was watching this, I mean, because it's been years since I watched it, and I thought, oh no, is my disc broken? Is it frozen? But no, I remembered it. It sort of pauses, which is really weird. But there we go. We didn't catch up with our killer. So there's our killer entering this sort of like apartment complexes. It's like a sort of complex area of like small little apartments, and then he goes in a lift and goes outside one of the houses where he's greeted by a tipsy lady.
Call you Monday, and you show up Thursday. Maybe.
So she thinks he's a repairman because she's pulled one out for since Monday, but he's not, obviously. So she's got a nice surprise. Well, not so nice surprise. This next clip's got a tiny little bit of gore. So he's using one of his tools to sort of drill on her to kill her. She runs into the bathroom and sort of locks the door behind her. She succumbs to her end eventually, and then bizarrely our killer then puts his mask on after he's done the killing. That's a bit mad, but there we go. He puts his mask on and just sort of admires his work. Yeah, it's quite difficult to get you any sort of like clips without any sort of little bit of blood in it. Anyway, we cut to another apartment where there's this beautiful girl just getting ready for a shower. Anyway, so we go through this scene of her getting ready for a shower, and she had that little jump scare, and then she remembers she's put something outside, and she goes outside to collect it, and then she bumps into our killer. Oh! So he knocks her out there. Sorry for the ooh. Yeah, I felt that. That's all. And anyway, he drags her to like the stairwells, where he puts her out of her misery with a different tool. He then puts her back into her flat, and her friend comes home and finds her dead body there.
This is WRON 1530 on your radio dial. I'm brought to you by Remember, at Burlington Motor Company.
So we're not even 5 minutes in, and there he goes. He also kills her, and there's 3 dead girls already within the first 5 minutes. And like I said, sorry about this. There's a bit of sort of like gore and blood in these clips. There's nothing I can do about it. Anyway, ProTube will probably take this down because, as you can see, quite a few of the clips, there's a radio going on in the background all the time, which is really annoying when you're trying to sort of like film some clips. You think, oh, that's going to be taken down for copyright. Anyway, so he's killed 3 people, and then he sort of looks out of the window from her last woman's apartment, looking at the other sort of like residences in the block. We then cut back to the girl's apartment and to a couple of worried neighbours.
John! John! Yeah. Deborah? Maria! Debbie! Oh my.
So they stumbled onto the bodies, and they contact the police, and the police arrive, and then we cut to them talking to like which I believe to be the landlord.
When the phone rang.
Pretty horrible thing to wake up to.
It's terrible. I wasn't expecting anything like this. See, this is a security building, and I find it very difficult to grasp.
Well, there was no signs of forcible entry. Mr. Kingsley, we're going to have to ask you to write out a list for us. All the present tenants, anybody that moved out in the last 2 years.
Certainly, I'll be glad to give it to you.
We then cut to another sort of family, a young girl and her mother at home. Mother's in bed, and the girl's getting up ready for her breakfast.
Go without something to eat.
Mom, I gotta run.
Oh, bye. I'll get up and make you something.
Jesus, Lori, why didn't you wake me up? I'm gonna be late.
Well, maybe if you weren't out all night. Where'd you go anyway at 12 o'clock midnight?
Hey, how many times have I gotten you up when you slept through the alarm?
Boy, you're pretty grouchy this morning.
Yeah, that's me in the morning.
So they've put her brother in there, and they've tried to make him a little bit like of a suspect there by saying, well, what are you out for at midnight for and all this? So he's one of the suspects at the moment in the film. We then cut to another beautiful young woman who's a model, getting ready for having a bath. So we can she's getting ready for her bath. Then we jump to see our killer walking around towards her apartment as she's in the bath.
Will you hold me?
And she comes to her grisly end. I could not show you any more of what happens to her or anything else there, because one, she's pretty much butt naked, and obviously the kills, I can't show you much more of that. But she succumbs to her end with, I believe, a nail gun. So unfortunately, because of the chase around the flat, she's naked and stuff, so couldn't show you any of that. She dies, and you see the little bit of the police investigating that. Then it cuts to the young girl we saw earlier, getting breakfast on the telephone, I think, to one of her friends.
I know, but Mom always told me that I'd either end up divorced or with a bunch of kids and a crappy job like her. No, okay? Okay?
So she's having a chat to one of her friends on the phone, and as she's doing that, she has a little visitor through the door.
It's funny because I'm getting pretty embarrassed by this conversation. Okay. Okay, goodbye.
So she's been grabbed. Has she been killed? Was it her brother? Who is this masked killer? You need to watch it and find out, because that's all I'm going to tell you. So we're about 15 minutes, 16, 17 minutes in the film. There's been about 5 kills, and this girl's been grabbed. I don't know if she's dead yet. You need to find that out. And the police are useless. Pretty much. So that's it. That's the little scenario of this film. What do I think of the film? It's an awesome film. It's a great classic 1970s slasher, around the same sort of, very similar to sort of like the New York Ripper, that kind of film. It's very, very similar to that, with little bits of Maniac in there as well. It is a great, great film. It's really, really cool. Yeah. It's a really, really good film. What can else I say about it? It's a strange one, because it's like the first sort of like 20 minutes of the film, it's full on, sort of like getting to see all these sort of kills and stuff. And then we have a little bit of investigation with the police for about half an hour, and little interviews. They interview that girl's brother and that. And that brother goes, well, if you're not going to find the killer, I am. And that's the last we sort of see of the police, which is really weird. It's like you don't see any other investigations, or if they're any closer to catching the killer or anything. It's really strange. And then we get to another sort of like the last half an hour of the film where it sort of kicks off a little bit again. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. But it's an awesome film. Really, really cool. The pluses of the film, the transfer looks really good. For the age of the film, it looks really cool. I remember seeing this years ago. I used to have this on the Vipco DVD, and it was always quite grainy and quite really bad print, but they've cleaned it up quite nice on there. Quite like it. Really cool. It's got a famous act, I can't remember his name, that famous actor, the landlord. He's really, really cool in the film. It is quite well acted, to be honest, for sort of like a cheesy B movie. Really cool. The kills are really good. I do like them. and there's quite a few of them. The minuses of the film is that middle part of the film, that sort of half an hour to 35-40 minutes where it's like nothing's really happening. It's just a lot of jibber jabber going on. Then I think to myself, maybe what they could have done is paced the kills out more rather than have had it the first 25 minutes, 5 or 6 kills and the kidnapping, then nothing for about 35 minutes, and then the climatic sort of end where you find out what's happening, who it is and stuff like that. Maybe they could just paced it better. But that's the only sort of negative of the film. Apart from that, it's awesome. It's an awesome movie. You know, there's not a lot really I can really say much more about it. It is a classic. I regard it as a classic horror film, because again, it's just one of those films that's probably influenced quite a few other sort of films. When you watch it, you think, oh, this has influenced that, definitely. You know what I mean? Things like that. But even sort of Friday the 13th has got some influences on this, because if you've seen the second Friday the 13th at the beginning in the girl's house, when he uses like a kitchen implement and stuff to kill her sort of thing, it kind of resembles this. So I think it's been a bit of an influential film on sort of films in the 80s and stuff. And I say it did get a remake, which was quite good. And not as good as this, but it was quite good. This was a video nasty, because one of the biggest things that the video nasty thing was about was the use of tools, not just any. It was tools that were everyday sort of tools that people would use. Things like, you know, like the film like Driller Killer, obviously used a drill, so that's obviously why that was banned. But anything that was using sort of things like tools or things that are around the house were always turned into sort of like a video nasty, because they didn't want anyone to be influenced by that and do it themselves, as you would. Anyway, that's enough of me rabbiting. Let's score this film now. I'm going to score this an awesome watch and give it an 8 out of 10. It would have got a 9 out of 10 if they didn't have that long period of just jibber jabber where nothing really happening. So the police do their investigation and it goes nowhere. You know, it's just like, well, what was all that about? You see them interviewing like the girl's brother, but that's it. You don't see him like investigating too much about it. Whereas New York Ripper, you saw the sort of police investigating and stuff, and even Pieces used to see the police sort of like investigating and stuff. Although they were useless, at least you still saw them. But yeah, 8 out of 10. That's my review of the Toolbox Murders. Have any of you guys seen it? If you have, let me know down below what you thought of it. I really enjoyed it. I watched it last night with Lemon Lord, and he quite enjoyed it too. I think he scored it a 6 or 7 out of 10. I think because of the, again, like a large part of the film, nothing happens. I think because they sort of blown all their trumpets in the first 25 minutes of all these kills, you think, oh, this is going to be amazing. It's going to be non-stop kill fest, and then it just stops, and you think, oh, that's a shame. Maybe they could have just paced it out, like had a kill every sort of 5 minutes or so, and then every 10 minutes, and you could have had like it spread out over the film a bit better, like New York Ripper did. But there you go. It's still a classic. It's still a really, really good film, and I'd still highly recommend you watch it. Check out some horror channels, guys, when you get a chance. Check out Horror Hands, The Horror Geek, Man v Film, RS Designs, Pizzlewell, and I Am the Ice Lord, as well as Sarah of Horror. Check them all out, guys. Until next time, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I'll see you all soon.